So we're beginning this week with chapter 10 from This Moment Is Your Miracle by David Hoffmeister. Transforming Special Relationships. So before I begin reading, I want to take a space to invite the Holy Spirit to guide us this week into truly transforming our special relationships into a holy relationship. So I want us to close our eyes and give Him that invitation to say yes. To say yes to letting Him and welcome Him into all our relationships, to transform all our relationships and to give them peace and to be in their true essence. So I want to take a moment to let Him in and sort of go into a meditation for a few minutes to let Him guide us this week into the meaning of a true relationship and into healing our minds, to stay in the present moment and to observe where we're still attached to old patterns, to release them, to give them over to Him, to let the teaching begin of unlearning the past to learn our truth. So let us take a few minutes to sink in into His presence. And it says, as you get closer to your true desire for peace, you will find it important to look at your relationships. Your relationships are mirrors to your mind, to what you believe. The greatest barometer for your state of mind is found in the way you feel in all your relationships, be they close, intimate ones, family, friends, colleagues, and business associates, or casual encounters. The closer the relationship, the deeper the healing potential. So in this chapter, I'll talk about special relationships. Whenever we think of ourselves as special, the ego has us look for what is different or lacking in others. The ego then compares, making us better or more special than the other. This judging is what the ego considers its job. At the most basic level, specialness is a belief in differences. This belief will always be the cause of distress and conflict in relationships because it is based on separation. This chapter will unveil the dynamics of specialness and how the ego uses it in relationships. Most people think of an interpersonal relationship as some kind of fulfillment because they feel that there is something empty, like a hole inside. It's common to think that a relationship will answer the call for intimacy, connection, and love. When there is a sense of need or lack in the mind, it turns into an often unconscious desire. I need to get something from you. This sets up a big expectation. Disillusionment is an inevitable result of the pattern of using relationships to solve a perceived inner lack or emptiness. Maybe the most common unquestioned expectation, one that is lifted up in society, is the marriage vow. There's an expectation of longevity where silver, gold, and diamond anniversaries are regarded as respected accomplishments. When we look outside for a partner to meet our needs and they fail to live up to the role the ego assigned to them, then it is curtains down. It is either I've had enough of this, or we begin an ego bargaining, such as people pleasing, which just muddies the water even more. And it is not experienced as a good situation. Well, we can all relate to that. I think this is beautiful. I think this is for me. Exactly in my special relationships. Not so much of the anniversaries, but expectations. And the reading goes, relationships can also be misused by the ego for projecting our emotions onto the other and blaming. I will be happy except that you do this and this and this. Projections come flooding out. Anger and guilt need a target because it feels intolerable to own them. But we do not realize that projecting onto and blaming our partner actually keeps these negative emotions alive. Sometimes loneliness and abandonment issues are reasons why people either enter into or avoid relationships. Everyone wants intimacy, but everyone also wants freedom. We usually seek intimacy in our relationship, but when we believe this means we will lose some kind of freedom, we may end the relationship. A relationship can be a tremendous mechanism for healing if we are willing to use it that way. A relationship offers countless opportunities to take projection back when we feel irritated or annoyed or even irked at the mannerisms or the tiniest things. So that's beautiful. I can really relate to this. So I can't wait into letting the Holy Spirit transform all my special relationships and to take back the projections and truly heal what I'm still holding on to. So we're going to move to the next paragraph, which is from specialness to love's true nature. When we want something from another, it is impossible to allow them to be who they really are. But this is the human condition, a state of desire or attachment to a certain idolized form. When the mind is asleep, It is desperate for innocence and love since it thinks it has lost it. As long as the ego is guiding us in our relationships, we are trying to find fulfillment and satisfaction in a form, in a body. It is as if you took a photograph and said to God, I want one of these. I will be happy when my life looks like this. But these forms are idols, and we will never be completely fulfilled by them. You could say that heaven's oneness, or the present moment, is a perfect state of desireless contentment. It is not wanting or needing anything, not hoping something will be different or better. It's not looking for answers. It's a state that simply is. Metaphysically, it is actually impossible to find love interpersonally or with anything external. The only true love is the love of spirit within. As long as we are afraid, believing we are separate identity, we will keep attempting to find this love outside. A common question is whether it's the ego that's behind our attraction to another person. Indeed, the ego does speak first and loudest. Yeah, definitely the loudest. The ego is impetuous and impulsive. It wants immediate gratification on its own terms, but the spirit can use the attraction beautifully when you allow yourself to go towards a relationship and use it for healing of the mind. Hanging in there in a committed relationship and facing these shadows when they come up will offer you a far deep opportunity for the healing of your mind. Heart openings and experiences of falling in love are always helpful and will ultimately lead to an awareness of true love. Since true love and intimacy can only be found within, you may wonder what it is that the mind is actually looking for and what a special relationship actually is. When you enter into a special relationship, you likely bring all your old thoughts and associations with you. When you interact with a person, you're interacting with a bit of your own past. The body that you think you are and the body that you're in a relationship with are like holographs acting out of your unresolved issues. Relationships offer a mirroring that helps you get in touch with what's going on in your consciousness, which is why they can be so intense. All personal relationships have the potential to trigger different forms of grievances like, you said you would do this and you didn't. You aren't the same as when I married you. Money issues, sex, jealousies, envy, and all of the so-called problems within a relationship, no matter how you define the situation, are based on past conditioning. The past is over, and so are the issues. But to the extent that you still believe in them, this partner is going to do you a favor and act them out in front of you. One day, you wake up and say to your partner, you believe what? Or there could be a 348 consecutive days of bliss. But then there's a trigger, and boom, a button pusher. Why? Because you believe something from the past is still current. What is the other person really acting out? They're acting out the judgments and the preferences in your unconscious. This is why you've drawn more to your bodies. This is why you've drawn more to some bodies than to other bodies. And from the spirit's perspective, the purpose is to heal those issues. Yes, spirit, definitely. Please heal these issues. So that's the end of that paragraph. So we're moving on to relationships and purpose. I think this is so profound and deep because in my experiences with these special relationships, I can see how everything is playing out, and all that comes to mind, it's exactly everything is for my own healing. Heidi has been sending me this week for the past couple of weeks about special relationships, and I've been pushing it out of awareness, and this week we're entering into it. So yeah, I want to begin into transforming that. So the next title is relationships and purpose. So we're going deeper into putting a purpose into the relationships. And what it says is, what you are aiming to heal together are the unhelpful dependencies and desperations rooted in a deep belief in lack. The ego always has an outcome for relationships, like staying together at any cost or making it look good on the surface, while the spirit offers guidance for how relationships can be used from moment to moment for healing and the undoing of things such as unhealthy dependency, control, and fear of loss. The truth is that you never really need anybody in the present moment. Wow, the truth is that you never really need anybody in the present moment. But when you feel very drawn to someone, you can practice simultaneously tuning into spirit. He will use the symbol of relationship for your awakening. Falling in love with someone can be used in the truest sense to go deep within, beyond the form to the essence, to a communion experience, to a sense of total communion, synergy, and telepathy, way beyond form. Everyone wants a love that doesn't come to an end. Love song lyrics usually speak of forever and everlasting, and the ideal of an enduring, everlasting, harmonious, continuous relationship certainly sounds good. Yet those terms don't really typically describe interpersonal relationships in this world. For even in the best relationships, when they seem to be sustained, it is still perceived that death of the body or splitting up and moving on cuts the relationship short of the ideal. From that perspective, there seems to be an ending. When there is a breakup, there can seem to be a lack of love, a heartache. However, if a relationship seems to come to an end and you're no longer together, but the thought of that person comes into your mind all the time, then you're actually still in that relationship. Your healing and learning continue, even when the bodies are no longer together. People are thoughts in our mind, and therefore, you are never left without an opportunity to heal. It takes a while before you will become good at being aware of your thoughts. I call that practice mind watching. The temptation is to only watch your mind at certain times and then slip back into mindlessness. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. I see how my mind goes into being mindful and then into mindlessness. And it says, this mind watching, especially within your relationships, is one of the major functions in returning again and again to the present moment. Love is, in truth, always beyond form. While special love in relationships is defined by the purpose and form it takes, divine love has no limits. It is pure spirit. Freedom and intimacy can only be found by going inward. No matter if you are single or in a relationship, you experience this truth only when you are free of attachment to outcomes, and as you allow the spirit to remove the limits that you've placed on sharing and extending of your love. Wow. As you allow the Holy Spirit to remove the limits that you've placed on sharing and extending of your love. So the next one is moving towards holy relationship. Moving toward holy relationship. So this went deep into seeing where the thought of someone still crosses our minds and how that relationship is still not healed. And it's not about bodies coming together, but the healing is always in the mind. It's always about healing from what never was to being true. So moving toward holy relationship. It is a blessing that we can use all of our relationships to see where we need healing of our minds and where we still have grievances. Even in our special relationship, spirit, when invited in, can help us see and guide us in what we must release in our mind through watching what our partner is mirroring back to us. It says, one time when I was in Argentina, some friends took me to watch a professional tango the dancers were slicing through the air, enacting all the drama of relationships. It sliced so fast because there are all kinds of relationship-related passion and emotions in the dance. There's even a history of murder associated with the tango. So under that slicing, there's a little bit of "I could kill you." Their faces are very expressive and very dramatic. There's a lot of drama and the trauma of special relationships under those whiskey bodies cutting through the air. Everybody on earth can relate to these intense emotions in relationships. The ego gets flushed out of its unconscious hiding place. It comes up to the surface, and it is vicious. What a passion. What was passion, romance, and attraction seems easily turned into hatred. A Course in Miracles has 9 chapters dedicated to special relationships. 9 chapters dedicated to special relationships with an exclamation point. In special relationships in this world, it slips back and forth between "I love you, I love you, I love you," and "I could kill you." The rage and the passion are eraser blades width apart, so close that if the case, how can a special relationship become the means to enlightenment, to a spiritual awakening? It is through forgiveness and day-to-day living. We can be grateful to all the people in our life because they reveal our grievances to us. As you take steps towards accepting the true purpose of all your relationships, you need to not only put your mind into it, you need to live it. Imagine being a mathematician who never wanted to practice with equations, or an auto mechanic who didn't get under the hood of cars. Imagine a bricklayer who couldn't stand mortars and bricks. You would laugh. In the same way as humans, we need to awaken by relating to and looking at our relationships with people. Have no expectations is the way of allowing things to be exactly as they are. It takes a lot of clearing the filter of consciousness to come to that state of mind. I performed a wedding where the couple's vows was, "I love you now," which I thought was a wonderful vow. They were merely mindful of the trap of future expectations. They wanted to allow the relationship to be used by the Holy Spirit for holiness, to clear the mind of any subtle expectations. For me, the most helpful answer from A Course in Miracles came when I was guided to leave a relationship. I had a tremendous amount of hurt and pain around the idea of living. I was facing fear of abandonment. I had the Course in my hand, and I prayed to the Holy Spirit, "Please, you must answer me before I can do this." I then opened the book to a section on relationships in the manual for teachers. My eyes went straight to a sentence that said, "Each teaching-learning situation is maximal in the sense that each person involved would learn the most that he can from the other at that time." Suddenly, my heart lifted. I felt that the Holy Spirit was saying, "It's okay. You and your partner learn as much as you could learn in that relationship." He was saying, "Job well done. You did a very good job, and I will be with you in your next relationship." This gave me the permission to go on and take the next step. As you move toward holy relationships, the ego will come at you pretty strongly to try to break your turn towards healing. I will try to sabotage and abort the mission of healing by intensifying the mirroring. But that's where I encourage you to just hang in there and ask for Spirit's help. The breakthrough will be in overcoming the ego's attempt and the longing to objectify and localize love and its attempt to shrink from the vastness that it is. Overcoming this obstacle is the undoing of special love relationship and the transition into holy relationship. Giving your relationships a holy purpose is the means to reaching the transcendent perspective that looks upon bodies much like dancing leaves in the wind on a fall day. With a little wind blowing the leaves around, you notice with detachment all the colors. You're not saying red, orange, brown, green. You're watching this world from a place of complete non-judgment. And that's what a holy relationship is. As you go about your daily relationships, Be alert to temptations to desire perfection in another's behavior, blame and emphasize flaws and inconsistencies either aloud or silently, make comparisons, want to be right at the expense of your brother or sister's innocence. When you join with another in purpose of healing the mind, you find love. Practice turning your attention to examining ego thoughts and patterns within your own mind so that they can be seen and healed. Allowing your relationships to show you what needs to be healed within your own mind. Looking beyond form and behaviors in your relationships. Releasing judgments and comparison. Practicing defenselessness in your communications. Practicing defenselessness in your communication. Practicing defenselessness in your communications. Having peace as your goal in your joining with others and the world. Seeing the gift and practicing the above. Beautiful. And then it's giving us an exercise into how to undo specialness. It says the following exercise aims at helping you become more aware of your part in building obstacles and issues in a relationship. It will help you see that you can change your experience with a relationship solely by looking at your own mind and not hiding and protecting, but lifting reactions, judgments, and hidden opinions to the Holy Spirit. Part 1. Observe your patterns in relationship. You are now going to identify what obstacles are in the way of your experience of holy relationship. Let the following questions draw out some of your past and present relationship experiences. Let a relationship come to mind in which you are seeking something from another. Go inward and journal what comes to mind and what you answer each question. 1. What specifically are you seeking? 2. Can you see whether this pursuit is based upon a belief in lack of some kind? 3. Looking back over your life, how do you notice any patterns? Repeating circumstances or persisting feelings such as being responsible, feeling needy, dependent, rejected, let down, or taking control or being in control. 4. What beliefs do you feel might be underneath these patterns? For example, if you felt either dependent or controlling in your relationships, is there a belief that you are helpless? 5. Can you begin to see how you are projecting your beliefs onto the other? For example, you aren't good enough, when really it is a belief you hold about yourself. I'm not good enough. 6. What do you believe you could gain or lose through relationships? Observe your thoughts and beliefs. 7. How would you feel and what do you think your life would be like without those thoughts and beliefs? Now says take a breath, and for the next few minutes in prayer, direct your mind toward dropping these thoughts and beliefs. Having seen these thoughts and beliefs that you led to feel a sense of separation, offer them to the Holy Spirit. Now, ask for help to see your friend differently. Each of these thoughts stem from the belief that you and they are different, and that you see and do not like about them is what you do not like about yourself. They save you from the disturbance you feel in your heart. This disturbance that was a result of withholding your love from them. Your grievance against them is now replaced with awareness and freedom. Rest within the spaciousness this release brings. Feel free to write or share about your experience to strengthen in awareness. when ongoing patterns are seen and recognized, you can easily spot them as they recur, and you can choose again. It's the first step toward knowing an intimacy that is not of personhood, but of the Spirit within. The Holy Spirit's temple is not a body, but a relationship. And that's the end of the exercise from Undoing Specialness. We can take a moment to really reflect on this exercise, and anywhere in this recording you can pause and go back and really go deep within to ask these questions, journal, and see these patterns. And the next one is the blessings of relationship. As you pivot towards healing through your relationships, you will feel grateful for the gifts they are offering. It's when you get to the point where you feel that you're not attacking or blaming another anymore, that you know you have matured spiritually. It means your consciousness has expanding towards understanding that all that stems to be happening outside you actually stems from your mind, your own mind. Even in your difficult relationships, you see there are valuable lessons to learn. Even in your difficult relationships, you see there are valuable lessons to learn. So, you can start to look honestly at what each relationship is showing you about your mind. And once you can see the patterns and beliefs a relationship is mirroring, then you will see the blessing and its healing potential. We are never meant to be dependent on a relationship, but rather we are meant to find the Holy Spirit in it, because really, we all share the same purpose: to wake up. Little by little, we feel more fulfilled from this practice, fulfilled from within, and our motive for relationships turns around from trying to get things from another to seeing an opportunity and to give and collaborate, whereby everyone benefits. When you are ready for this renewed purpose, you will start to move from the familiar and special relationships of the world to healed and holy relationships. Can we say yes to that? The ego will still seem to come at you, but that's when Spirit is always available to help and says, "You've come this far. Stay with your faith. I am with you." Your prayer to the Holy Spirit becomes, "I let your vision take the place of my perception," which is just a presentation of the past, appearing once again as if it's still occurring. This makes way for a new vision of love that will allow you to meet with someone anew, as if for the very first time, without your beliefs from the past being projected onto them. The miracle of relationship is a journey from specialness to holiness, from exclusivity to experiences of inclusion, and from separation, fear, and loneliness to true joining, love, and joy. It is awakening a shift in perception from separate interests of me, mine, and what's in it for me, to a shared interest, purpose, and goal. This is how you are blessed. The more love that you let you pour through. This is how you are blessed. The more love that you let pour through you, the more aware you will be of how powerful that love is, and your relationships will flourish and expand. It's therefore beneficial to stay open and honor the relationship. It's therefore beneficial to stay open and honor the relationships that come your way, however they might look initially. And as you learn to use them in truly helpful ways, they will allow you to heal and let go of specialness and lead you back to God. And lead you back to God. And that's the end of this chapter. So I hope you enjoy, and to welcoming the Holy Spirit into our relationships to heal them, and to let us all see our oneness. So I leave you with that, and I love you, with all my heart, and to share our experiences in this week's journey into transforming our special relationships into a holy one. Love you.